Hey guys, what's going on? Kevin Lee. So today I have Coach Shane here from Fight Tips, and he's gonna be sharing with me a few training tips that can improve your sparring.
Yes. So I would say keep it simple as possible, depending on your level. And you want to think about a specific technique or even more so a concept that you can continue to work on. And you want to set that objective before you actually start the sparring, right? And you don't want to do it in the middle of a match. So knowing that you're sparring later on that day, or sitting off as you're putting your shin guards on, think about what you'd like to achieve by the end of it, and then be honest with yourself during the rounds, in between breaks, and at the end to make sure that you actually did achieve it. When I say concepts, that's different than just choosing a specific technique, right? A concept is maybe shutting down the jab, right? So if we're sparring and I'm thinking about how can I shut this jab down, right? So number one is my defense. So I'm catching here or I'm slipping here, but how can I prevent him from throwing that jab? Or even better, how can I dissuade him from throwing that jab? So now I'm thinking, okay, what are different ways that I can counter this? One of my favorite ways is to parry and simultaneously throw a low kick, because usually when they step in, they're heavy on that front leg. So this is something that I will use throughout my sparring. If I can take the jab away from them, that's one of the most important punches. It's the first punch that we learn. So now every time he throws a jab, he's feeling pain in his leg. Now he's like, man, maybe I shouldn't jab. So if I can take away an entire weapon, that's going to give me a lot of success.
So like psychologically, they're thinking every time I punch you, I get punished.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, exactly.
Like
another concept could be, I want to fight on the outside. Normally I'm a pressure fighter, or vice versa. Maybe I'm normally a counter fighter, and today I need to challenge myself and do something a little different. One of the best bits of advice I ever got from my boxing coach back in the day was treat each round to work a different strategy, right? So if you're always working plan A and you're getting really good at plan A, cool, we know you're good at plan A. What happens in a fight if plan A doesn't work and you've never practiced anything else before? So this happens a little bit later in your career as an athlete, as a fighter, but you should dedicate certain rounds to switching things up, right? So if I'm normally a pressure fight, I'm getting on the inside, I want to practice plan B, which is fighting on the outside and keeping it long. And I dedicate the whole round to exactly that, right? There's going to be times where maybe you get cracked or you get tired, and then you start to go back to plan A. You have to challenge yourself and force yourself to be uncomfortable, right? And do things that you wouldn't normally do. So that could be, again, it could be switching stance and fighting in a southpaw stance. It could be a little bit more aggressive. It could be working in the clinch. Things that you don't normally do, strengthen those weak areas.
That's awesome. That's a really good tips, because I feel like sometimes a lot of times people just by default going back to what they're comfortable with. Yeah. So if I'm just liking staying here the whole time, even if it fails, they just, man, I'll just keep pushing, keep fighting. Yeah. And sometimes you just gotta switch it up. Watch
an athlete that you like and try to mimic them, or watch an athlete that you don't like and try to mimic them. Right.
That's a good tip. Yeah. That's a very good tip. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Coach. Cool. Thank you. Until next time.